doing, guys?
What's up, Ben? Original.
Is that light alright, Ben?
Yeah. Oh, sunglasses. Hey, Big Benny! What up, bro?
I'm waiting for Marcos. Hey, Ben, you know, just yesterday was really fun to watch. You know, Tyson and Tom do their close down and everything like that. But I want to ask you, is that really the right behavior and mentality of an underdog who's trying to come in and beat the odds, or for Schwarz? Yeah.
For Tom, it's a difficult one because obviously for him, he's not been here before. He probably just wants to get this part done and get in the ring and have a fight. And obviously, there's no bones about it. He is the underdog, so he probably just wants to get in there, get the fight done. And you know, all this is relatively new for him, but it doesn't mean that he won't rise to the occasion, and we're fully aware of that.
How much do you think of your job being Tyson's coach is getting him in the gym, keeping him on the straight and narrow? I'm sure it was worse before the Wilder fight, but how much of it these days is just getting him in the gym, keeping him happy and keeping him training?
Relatively easy. Now it's at the point where I haven't even got to get Tyson to the gym, he gets himself to the gym. If anything, sometimes I have to try and get him to have time off.
Do you think that's something that people haven't given you enough credit for? Because I heard you say in an interview earlier this week that Dillian White criticised you saying you hadn't changed Fury's game, but very few people could have made him lose this weight and get him this motivated again.
It's not just me that's helping him lose the weight, it's the whole team. There's 4 people here, and this is not even a big part of it, so loads of people played their part.
Just put a percentage-wise or a number on it, how much better is he now than before the Wilder fight?
Well, we'll see Saturday. I'd say performance-wise in the gym, there's probably a 20% improvement, maybe a little bit more. But in the gym is one thing, and on the night's a different thing. So we'll have to wait and see Saturday.
He's obviously very relaxed this week. He's obviously enjoying this. Is it good working with a fighter who never gets tense on fight week, is just taking it, or would you rather he maybe does feel a little bit like, oh shit, there's a fight on the weekend?
Everybody's different. Everybody deals with it differently. You just have to know the person that you're working with. You know, it's a new experience for Tyson being here, but luckily we got Ricky who's boxed out in, gave us some tips and advice that's on things to do and things not what to do while over here in Vegas, and it's been very helpful.
I just wanted to ask you one question about an interview you did with IFL earlier this week, a bit separate to Tyson. You were talking about Joshua and Ruiz, and in the rematch, if they changed specific things, like for example, for people who didn't hear it, Joshua steps in with his jab, and sometimes Ruiz can come under that, and he's closed the distance for Ruiz. You were saying he needs to change specific things, but if he's been boxing the same way for years, is from now until November enough time for him to change that?
I don't know. I don't spend time in the gym with him. I don't work with him. I don't know him personally. Obviously, he's trained that way for a number of years, so it probably will be difficult. But I don't know how quick he can learn new things. He could be a fast learner. He might not be. I don't know. But if things don't change, it's a 50-50 fight.
Is that a fighter-by-fighter thing where some people can just pick up new ways of boxing very quickly, and others are just, I've learned by textbook, as you said, for years, I can't change? Everybody
learns in different ways. Some people you can just say it to them and they know what you mean. You can do it. Some people you have to demonstrate it to. Some people it takes 3 or 4 people. Sometimes it takes weeks, months to pick one thing up. So everybody's different.
Ben, obviously Tyson's got this big personality. A lot of heavyweight champions have. Is that hard? Is it ever, or what's it like to go through the ups and downs of a guy with that big a personality and all that? Is that tough on you ever? What's that like?
Yeah, of course it's tough. You know, obviously it is. But he's a lot more mentally balanced now than he was during the comeback phase. So it makes things a lot easier. And like I say, people always say, oh, you know, you've done this, you've done that, but there is a full team that have played a part in getting him back there, including his family. And you know, there's a lot of people have lifted some weight off of my shoulders as well.
I know back in the old school, we'll say trainers were almost the boss. You know, they at some point they kind of needed the fighter to obey him a little bit. Is that hard to do with a guy who's 6'9" and you know you're a young guy? Or is the dynamic changed these days where it's different now for the trainer and fighter? Or
I wouldn't say it's particularly about how it is across the board. It's different for each and every person. You know, Ricky had a famous relationship with Billy Graham where they was very friendly, but obviously, when it comes to the gym, Tyson respects me. He's got a nutritionist, he's got a strength and conditioning Christian. So when it comes to each job, he respects the person that he's employed in that role.
When you say mentally balanced, he's better mentally balanced now than he was when he came back. What do you mean by that? Is that sort of day-to-day thing, or is it in the gym, or just
day-to-day in every way? So when we first done the comeback, when we moved into the hotel, if I left him for 5 minutes, I'd get your kit ready, everything to be ready. I'll say to him, right, I'm going to go do a little bit of training myself. I want you to leave here in an hour and I'll meet you at the gym. Is that okay? You just rest, everything's done for you, just get up and leave in an hour. Just rest until then. Yeah? Yeah. I'd leave for the gym, get to Ricky's gym. Within 2 minutes, he'd be walking through the door. You know, couldn't leave him for 2 minutes, but like I say, it's a lot more stable and a lot more balanced now.
He said that he still has it like sort of down days. Obviously, everyone does. Do you manage as a trainer? Do you have to manage that when it comes to the boxing side? Is the boxing's pretty regimented, doing the same sort of thing, or do you sometimes you say, you could have a day off today, or we could do something?
To be honest, when he's having a down day, he has to do something. The other day we went over to LA for some media, and when we come back, I wanted him just to rest, but I knew the mood that he was in. If he didn't do any training, he was going to either be in a bad mood that night, or it was going to follow on to the next day. So we done a workout. You know, it wasn't anything
just to keep him
tough,
busy,
but just something to balance him mentally, and that's just getting to know somebody.
Yeah. On the subject of being in America, you've been here with like the best part of the last 7 months, really, although not totally. Yeah. How has that changed him? Do you think spending so much time over here and really immersing himself in the camp here and the one before Wilder as well? Does that help him? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it helps everybody to have a goal, routine, structure, to have something to work to. It helps everybody mentally. You know, you find it with people when they lose their job. A lot of the times when they come out of the military or the forces, or they retire, that's when people start to go downhill, so to speak. I think the biggest problem that people have, sometimes don't actually understand, is that they're losing routine, consistency and structure, and I think that's a very important part of the human mind.
After the Wilder fight, were you maybe nervous that the dedication that Tyson had would go away, being that he didn't get the victory in that fight?
Not necessarily the dedication. I would have said that the problem that I probably thought would have occurred was I was waiting for the instability to kick back in. Because going into the Wilder fight, he obviously had in mind that he had something to focus on. He had a big task ahead of him. Going into the Wilder fight, it gave me something to focus on, a big task ahead. And I sort of thought after, I felt like I was waiting for a blip. But the blip never really came. Obviously he has ups and down days, but I think the biggest thing that we can take away from that fight, barring the performance and the way that the American people took to him, was what he's done for him mentally and helped balance.
How cheated did you feel by that draw?
Yeah, I think people saw how I reacted to it, and like I said, I think Tyson helped prevent a big riot on the night. You know, I was absolutely fuming over it. There was not a 0.00001% chance that I thought Tyson had won that fight.
Well, you even said in the corner, like 2 minutes away from the best comeback ever, 3 minutes away. So I'm just interested, how long did it take you to really swallow that and think, okay, next task, even if you have?
I went on holiday after, and I was still very, very frustrated with it. But I suppose, like I said, I was waiting for that blip from Tyson, but because that never come, I think it sort of probably helped it just be a little bit easier.
Are you surprised that blip never came? I think a lot of people watching Tyson were like, oh, what's going to happen now? Are you surprised that, you know, even with a lower named guy like Tom Schwarz, he still seems to be in it, still motivated?
Yeah, but it's like what I said, when you enjoy what you do, it makes things a lot easier. You want to go and train, you want to get up and look forward to going to work. So that's what I find that we've found the right balance of, is enjoying what we do but being effective at what we do.